shop was a great place to test out the difference between the suspension in the XC and the XCW. As set by the techs, the XC suspension and the air fork variety were race firm but very compliant. The Explorer forks floated through that like butter. The 250 XCF needed a little bit extra revs to get through that sand wash, but the traction was very manageable. I found the motor of the 250 XCF to have ample power. It's a bike I could ride for a long time without getting fatigued. And I found the fuel injection to behave nicely throughout the rev range, and I found no off-idle herky-jerkiness that I had read about on several forums. The motor of the 250F took my 190 pounds through these flat sections just fine. The real test is what it does on long, rocky hill climbs. We wouldn't have any of that today.
Hello.
There is a load of difference between the power of a KTM 250 XCF 4-stroke and a KTM 300 2-stroke. The 250F is a ride-all-day kind of bike. The 300 is a fire-breathing dragon, rip your arms out of your sockets racer boy bike. Although this bike didn't come with one, I would look into installing a map switch to tame this thing down once I start getting tired. This is where the plush suspension of the XCW bikes shine. I did not feel these bumps as I hammered through them. The 300 has gobs of power for the sand wash, but the back wheel got a little spinny.
Guess I got to ride the FI. I didn't even know it was going to be here.
This fuel-injected bike behaved perfectly off-idle all the way through the rev range to the top, and it was amazing in that I saw no burbles, no bogs, no nothing. The bike just ran no matter what I did with that throttle. The smooth power delivery made me feel like the bike was slow, but it wasn't slow. I was actually wringing this bad boy out. Everything about the motor was smooth, and it wasn't just that it had a counterbalancer. Of course, that worked, and if you have any doubts that the counterbalancer made a difference, it does. This bike vibrated much less than earlier model KTMs. And speaking of smooth, here we go on the chop again, and this XCW's Explorer fork and shock just floated over these ruts. Perfect ride, wouldn't change a thing. And you can see that the 252 stroke took a bit more throttle to make it through that sand wash when you compare it to the 300 two-stroke.
Hello. Uh-oh. Ay, they're tall.
Where's your card at?
It's around here someplace. Oh, down there?
Oh, here it is.
There you go. Under my,
Now this goes on the off-road loop only. Yeah, here.
No motocross?
No.
Why is that?
This is an off-road bike.
Is it too soft?
Yeah, it's not made for motocross. Hey, when you go around this corner right here,
Oh yeah, I saw
follow
it.
the arrows.
Got it.
Hey, be careful getting on.
If I rode only flat stuff in Ohio and Indiana, this would be my bike of choice. But unfortunately, I ride rocks and hills of Arizona. You can't help but have fun on this bike. If I could manage to stay on the pipe through the sand, I'd do a lot better, but it's just beyond my abilities. fun stuff, but time to get real.
Last ride of the day.
Last one.
This is why I came here to ride.
Alright, perfect.
I spend my time on all the other bikes.
Yeah,
I want this bike with Explorer forks, I think.
that'd be nice.
You guys don't make the XCFW anymore.
You got a couple more rides.
Yeah, well, this is why I might double up.
Yes, the Explorer forks, nice and soft, perfect for rocks, perfect for slow people just like me. 2 years ago, I predicted I would buy a 2018 KTM 350 XCFW, and then they stopped making them. The 350F sure did handle that sand wash with these. There's something about these 4-strokes. I'm a 2-stroke guy, but I feel very comfortable on these bikes. The bike even goes through silt better. Starting to get a little frisky here. It must be the 4-stroke. So I jumped on the gasser to do a little comparison. I was a little curious. Wanted to see where it stacked suspension-wise and motor-wise between all the two-stroke models. Suspension-wise, my Marzocchi 48mm closed cartridge forks are about as stiff as the AER air forks on the XC model KTMs, except the KTMs just feel way more refined. From a power standpoint, my gas feels about as powerful from the seat of the pants standpoint as the fuel-injected KTM. And my gas, because I have it tuned for bottom torque, with torqueier than both the 250 fuel-injected and the 250 carbureted, but it could not match the torque of the 300, obviously. And the carbureted 250 and 300 were just rippers all the way to the top.
Working on it.
What's going on, Ricky?
And I did this final test ride of a KTM 250 XC just to see how the gasser compared to it, and I verified that the KTM 250 XC two-stroke is a rip snort two-stroke.
It looks like.
Yeah, they're brand new, so we're gonna have to adjust that.
Another thing I was curious about was how the 2018 Mikuni carbureted bikes were jetted this time around, and I had no problems with any of the carbureted two-stroke bikes. They seem to work all the way through. And that short section showed me that my 2011 gas would not be able to keep up with the carbureted KTM two-strokes in a sprint. They are quite quick. And as I'm jetting around this corner, I'm thinking to myself, boy, do I love two-strokes. I love two-strokes. Why am I even thinking about getting a four-stroke? Hard to say.